Hello everybody. Today we're going to be giving a demo on how to build a login and sign up system using Ruby on Rails. Now before we begin any actual coding, we would like to give a brief introduction to the framework. Ruby on Rails is based on a MVC structure, which stands for models, views and controllers. Now in Rails, a view is a chunk of HTML code that displays some fixed text which can be customized and styled. Models are very similar to a standard database model. Tables are mapped to classes, rows to objects, and columns to object attributes. Rails controller is the logical center of your application. It coordinates the interaction between the user, views, and models. Now, another important part of Rails is routing. Routing, as the name suggests, determines where we will be taken when we click on a particular link or enter a certain URL. Finally, we have gems. Gems are extremely useful packages which contain information and files to install. We run the command bundle install to compile the gems. Now let's move on to the coding portion. Firstly, we will begin with creating a directory. Then we move into the directory and use the Rails new command to create a new Rails project. This generates all the required files automatically. Now before we proceed further, we would like to clarify that this demonstration is for Rails version 4.0.0 and Ruby version 1.9.3. Moving on, we use the Rails generate command to generate a scaffold. This command creates a database with the name user, which has columns of name, which is a string, and password, which is defined as a digest type. This table is automatically linked to a controller and a display page, which is the beauty of creating a scaffold. Next, we use rakedb migrate to sync the creation of this table. Now we go into the gem file and add a gem called bcrypt. This, along with the digest type, will encrypt the password and also ask for a confirmation at the time of sign-up. Next, we run bundle install to compile this gem. Now, we tweak the controller a little to modify the redirection when we create a user. We specify that we want to redirect users underscore URL after creating or updating a user. After that, we edit the view to allow notices to pop up at the top of the page if they are present. These notices include like asking a user to log in before they can access a particular page. Now let's see what we have done so far. We run the command Rails server, which hosts our app on our local server. So we go to localhost 3000 /user/new and we can see that a sign up page is ready. Now we will create two new controllers, sessions and admin, which contains a view called index. Now up until now, we have created a database of users. What we will do now is check whether a user is signed in, and if not, restrict access. The sessions controller is to check whether the user is logged in. The admin controller contains a page the user who has just logged in is redirected to. So in the sessions controller, we define some conditions. If the user is signed in, that is, has a valid session ID, we redirect them to the admin view. Otherwise, they are redirected to a login URL with an error message. Now we design a login page. This page contains a field to enter our name and a password as expected. We go back to the sessions controller the last time to configure the logout feature by allocating the session ID to nil. We also configure our page that view after sign in, which is the index view. Before we proceed, we will add some routes to the routes file. The routes we add would allow Rails to identify what page to fetch when we use the terms login and logout. All that is left is limiting access of unauthorized users, that is, people that haven't signed in. We create a function called authorize that does this for us. We also add the before action line which checks authorizations before showing any information. Besides creating a user, if the user has not logged in, that is not authorized, he is redirected to the login page again and again. Since we need to allow users to create an account without having them to log in, we will add the statement to skip action authorized for the new create and index command. We also add a route that sets our home page to a particular page instead of the default page.